Alright guys, so this is part 3 of 3 from our family trip last summer, and so here's where we are surprising my family, except for my dad. He already knew that we're joining them on the rest of the trip in Knoxville. They thought we were going back home after we left Asheville, North Carolina.
What? Oh my god.
What's going on?
We're staying for the vacation.
You guys didn't know we were coming?
No!
We didn't tell you? I thought we told you yesterday.
You just gave me chills.
We told you yesterday we were coming.
Guess what? We were just in there. How'd you already know to record?
I saw them walking down the hallway.
Guess what? We were just in there saying how we already missed you guys. We were just talking
I
about
know.
that. You knew?
Yeah.
Is that why we were hiding in the bathroom?
Yeah.
We kept
We were in on it together.
Guess what? He just kept saying we must all go up now.
I kept thinking I missed that.
We couldn't go downstairs
I know.
for the thing, but we had to
We'll get food now. It closes at
Joseph kept
7:30.
a secret?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's 7:30 or
You
7.
know how hard it was.
Yeah.
It almost-
I don't think
You
it's,
almost gave
Joseph.
away a couple of
yeah,
times.
a couple times.
I think it's over at 7. Joseph, do you want the last bite?
You know I do.
Alright, so here we are arriving at James White's fort. So James White was the founder of Knoxville. He came to the future site of Knoxville in the early 1780s. His service in the Revolutionary War earned him a land grant of 1,000 acres. White built the first permanent structure, his 2-story log cabin, in 1786. 2 years later, White enclosed the log cabin and other structures with a stockade fence for protection from wild animals. White was a friend of the Cherokee Indians in the surrounding area. He negotiated several Cherokee and white settler treaties. White opened his home in peace and to trade with him. The courtyard of the fort was used as a stable for domesticated animals such as horses, cows, pigs, and sheep. The area around the fort was cleared of trees, and the vegetable gardens and tobacco crop were grown for food and commerce. James White partitioned part of his land in October of 1791 to establish the town which would become Knoxville. So this is a recreation of White's original fort, which was about 1/3 mile northwest of this spot. The stockade includes much of what is believed to be James White's original home, the cabin in the fort's southwest corner. Although dated to 1786, when James White first built his 2-story log house, this building at this location only incorporates parts of the original structure, including steps, flooring, and rafters. In 1906, it was moved from its original location to Woodlawn Pike, so it would not be demolished. There, the cabin served as the main part of a suburban home for several decades before being moved to its current location in 1968 and reconstructed, replicating the original structure. Other structures in the stockade are original 18th or 19th century cabins from elsewhere in the area, moved to or reconstructed on site to provide an accurate depiction of frontier Tennessee life. So James White's fort was opened to the public in October of 1970. Alright, so our second stop of the day was the Blount Mansion. So William Blount, a signer of the United States Constitution, chose to build his home in Knoxville after signing the Treaty of the Holston on the banks of the Holston River, just a few hundred yards away from the mansion's location. Blount's Knoxville mansion would serve as the territorial capital as well as a family home. The care and construction and the size and shape of Blount Mansion reflects Blount's position as a territorial governor, head of a prominent family and influential land speculator. Here, William and Mary Granger Blount raised a large family, which would include daughter Barbara Blount, one of the first female students at the college, which would eventually become the University of Tennessee. The house was made of sawn lumber to meet Mary Blount's requirements of a proper wooden house. Unlike most homes built around what would become Knoxville, Blount's home was made of timber rather than rough logs or hand-hewn timbers. Nails were brought from the Blount's family nailery near Tarboro, North Carolina, and glass was brought to Knoxville from Richmond, Virginia. The mansion was originally constructed as a hall and parlor house with 2 rooms downstairs and a half-story loft. The hall was the main room for family activity and for guests, and the parlor was a private space for the family. Upstairs, there was a single sleeping chamber, which was roughly finished. By 1925, the area around the Blount mansion had been allowed to seriously deteriorate. Slums existed in the waterfront area. Blount Mansion was in seriously rundown condition. Across the street from the mansion site, the Andrew Johnson Hotel was under construction as part of a downtown revitalization. Efforts were underway to purchase the Blount Mansion property and raise the only home of a signer of the U.S. Constitution outside of the 13 original states for hotel parking. Local figures such as Mrs. B.B. Cates, Dr. James Hoskins, a dean at the University of Tennessee and president of the East Tennessee Historical Society, and Miss Mary Boyce Temple, a regent of the Bonnie Kate chapter of the Daughters of the American Revolution, spearheaded the efforts to save Blount Mansion. In 1962, the Blount Mansion Association acquired the circa 1818 Craighead Jackson House. It wouldn't be a trip to Knoxville without a visit to Market Square. Since the 1860s, Market Square has been one of Knoxville's most popular places to shop, work, play, eat, drink, and live. Market Square is home to outdoor concerts and movies, Shakespeare on the Square, and much more. The square is located just minutes from the University of Tennessee campus and Knoxville's urban wilderness, a 1,000-acre stretch of land that features more than 50 miles of hiking and biking trails and connects parks, trails, Civil War sites, and recreational amenities. So with all the restaurant choices in here, it was really difficult to choose one, but we ended up going to Not Watson's Kitchen and Bar, and we were not disappointed. The food was amazing. The portions were huge. It was kind of overwhelming actually, but we were super excited. They had some really, really cute places to shop. And yeah, it was just an overall really good vibe. Some things were unfortunately closed because of COVID, but we really enjoyed this little area and we'll definitely come back here when we come back to Knoxville. All right, and another thing that would make it an unofficial trip to Knoxville if you didn't visit it would be seeing Strong Alley. So Strong Alley is a collaboration between agreeing business owners and willing artists. It was the brainstorm of the artist collective Artist Alley Revamp. It's just off Market Square in the alley between Union Avenue and Wall Avenue, and you cannot miss it. As you can see, there are an abundance of different murals, all different styles. Of course, my girl Dolly Parton's at the beginning. We got some Bart Simpson. We got everything going on. Something for everyone to see. You cannot miss this. And, if you're looking for pictures for the gram, you have to come here to take some selfies. And of course, it wouldn't be a trip complete without renting a scooter. So Joseph rented himself a little scooter there. And then the next day we made a trip to Knoxville Zoo, and it was actually a really nice zoo. Unfortunately, some of the animals wanted to, sleep a little bit rather than come out and see everybody like they probably do every day. But overall, it was really a nice place, and I think they were doing a lot of maybe like construction and things like that, just because now is the time to do it when attendance is lower at all things like this because of COVID-19. But overall, we had a really good time, and the only thing I was really sad about is that the otters were one of the little babies that didn't want to come out and see us, but that's okay. I'm still sad about it, but I'll be fine. But they're my favorite, so I wish I had gotten to see them. But the monkeys were super playful and fun to watch, and we got to see some lions and stuff as well. So enjoy our little trip to the zoo. So one of our stops after the zoo was the Knoxville Botanical Garden. And I don't remember what day of the week this was on, but it seemed like we were the only people there. But it was so nice, and we got to see some really nice flowers and things like that. And just some like really random things, like a large bird's nest, you'll see what I mean, and a really big like Adirondack chair you could sit in. And they just had like the most random things, but it was so cute. And I could definitely see this being a place for weddings and, you know, just different like corporate gatherings, things like that. But it was a really nice visit, and I think people should definitely go here. Okay, and the last part of our trip, the I guess grand finale, was this amazing seafood restaurant we found called Chesapeake's. They do have another location in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and I'm telling you guys, if you're either in Gatlinburg or Knoxville, you have to eat here. I don't care if it's just for appetizers or what, but it is so amazing. Like, not disappointed at all. The food was so good. Everyone, like, we all agreed that everything we got was amazing, and like we still talk about it to this day how good it was. So I definitely would head over there for dinner or lunch or whatever. I'm not sure what their hours are, but you don't want to miss it, guys. Well, this is the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you've never been to Knoxville, I highly recommend going. It's a great place to visit, and if you live there, you are so lucky. All the food there is amazing. Thanks for watching. Bye.